Okay, I'm sorry.
And then you're gonna introduce the mayor, of course.
Okay.
So you're just gonna stay
So you're gonna put my
here.
sunglasses on my hat?
Yep, just like it, right there.
Okay.
There you go.
And that sun's gonna kill.
right at the camera to cue you when to turn them on.
shadows?
Do the pom-poms.
What do you need
and
me here
everything
just
else.
to look good?
All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Here you are. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. He's coming back.
Well, it's a beautiful building. So.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful inside.
Is it?
It's beautiful inside. I got a tour. Yeah.
Are you a resident as well?
No, I live Quackenboston, 427 Quackenboston, Northeast. But I came to see it because my granddaughter was applying for resident manager, but she got another job.
Okay.
I also told her to apply for resident manager. I don't know why she wanted to go to Maryland. You could walk around the corner.
Right.
That was a blessing.
Well, glad you're here. So glad that you're here today.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Glad you're here.
My sister.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Just good? Busy. Nice turnout today.
Yeah, but no, I gotta tell one more bird. Tap her. Tap her. I gotta tell her she told me it wasn't gonna be full. I said no, honey, it's gonna be an overflow.
That's right.
That's right. Speak positive.
Okay. You have a pen? Can I borrow your pen for a second?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Excuse me. I told you it was gonna be an overflow today.
And now, we bring you the
Good
following
afternoon,
live
everyone.
press announcement. Our regularly scheduled program will resume following the announcement.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor Albert, Councilmember Janice Lewis George, residents, and other distinguished guests, friends, and colleagues. My name is Rich Jordan, and I have the honor of serving on the board of True Ground Housing Partners. And what a wonderful occasion it is to gather here today for the grand opening of Riggs Crossing here in the district. So on behalf of the entire organization at True Ground, I'd like to welcome and thank all of you for helping us celebrate this momentous occasion. So for those of you who don't know, True Ground, which celebrated its 35th anniversary last year, has been committed to its mission of providing high-quality, affordable housing throughout the greater Washington region. True Ground believes everyone has the right to housing and a safe, stable place to call home. In addition to housing, True Ground has a strong resident-centered services program which provides its residents with the necessary tools to allow them to achieve their respective goals, at the same time allowing them to thrive and become productive members of the communities in which they live. This project has been a long time coming. It's in the making, and it's important for a couple different reasons. One, it's TrueGround's first affordable housing project in the District of Columbia. Right? We hope the first of many. And two, it represents TrueGround's commitment through the vision of its 2023 strategic plan to increase its affordable housing portfolio to 7,500 units by 2028. This represents a threefold increase from its basis in 2023. Coincidentally, this also aligns nicely in support of the mayor's comeback plan to add 15,000 homes to the district by 2028. So we're extremely excited to work with and support the district in achieving its housing goals. I want to take a moment to personally thank and recognize Carmen Romero, the CEO of TrueGround, and her entire staff for yet a job well done. This is a great project for the district. And TrueGround looks forward to future opportunities to work together with the district to deliver high-quality, affordable housing for its residents. Again, on behalf of TrueGround, thank you all for coming, and it's my pleasure to introduce a very special guest, Miss Mary Worsley, a DC native and the newest resident of Riggs Crossing.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. My name is Mary Worsley. I'm a native Washingtonian, and I have lived in Northeast and the vicinity of the Riggs community for 79 years. I'm so excited to be one of the first residents of Riggs Crossing. I'm already meeting some of my new neighbors, experiencing the beautiful and colorful amenities, and learning about all the amazing programs coming to our community. And from the looks of this crowd, I think you all are excited too. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who made Riggs Crossing possible, and thank you for looking out for seniors in the district. To Miss Olivia and the TrueGround and SLN staff, thank you for your warm welcome. I now have the honor of introducing our illustrious mayor. Please welcome DC's very own Muriel Bowser.
Well, hello, Riggs Park. Let's give Miss Mary a big round of applause. Let me see one of them pom-poms, Miss May. Let me see one of them pom-poms. Because I want them to write that I'm doing a victory lap. So, we're doing a victory lap, aren't we, Riggs Park? And I am just so proud of this community, and I'm so proud of the leadership that neighbors demonstrated when we had the opportunity to develop this corner. We know who lived in Riggs Park and live in Riggs Park and grew up around here Northeast, like some of us, that this area was a strip mall. Behind it was a speedway from South Dakota Avenue that dumped cars onto Riggs Road, speeding by and making it more dangerous. That's what it was. We know that it was a Tiger Market across the street that sold more beer and lottery tickets than food. It was. We know it was a Highs at the corner. It got robbed too many times. That's what it was. And some of you may know this. I lived here for 16 years, and this is the first place I was elected in 2004. And about then, in 2004, I walked with a couple of neighbors, Valerie Dunbar, I think then, and Tracy, whose last name I'm forgetting, who worked for Mayor Fenty at the time. And we just talked about how we can make a change. And slowly, little bit by little bit, that's what we did. It involved DDOT. It involved DCRA. It involved DMPED. It involved the mayor. It involved the council. It involved the LRCA. It created the Lamont Riggs Development Task Force. And I'm glad to see that Gwen is here, who chaired that task force for many years, and Rodney is back there, who co-chaired the task force. So this community, and when I come through and drive by to go see my mother, I just remark that everything that the task force set out, from the new Lamont Riggs Library to a grocery store at Fort Totten Metro, to Arts Place that Jane Cafritz promised, to bringing more than 300 jobs in neighborhood serving retail here with the Walmart, to the new community now that Sharon lives in that used to just be a big lawn over in Lamont. This community showed what neighborhood development looks like. Let's hear it for the Lamont Riggs Development Task Force. The blueprint. So I can't help but go through that list because it represents a lot of work, a lot of good people, and it also represents promises made and promises kept. So I'm blessed to have been able to serve as your mayor for 10 years, your council member for 8 years, and your ANC commissioner before that. And today we will be cutting the ribbon on this beautiful housing for seniors. Singers, young and old. Because it starts at, it starts at 55. Is that it? Yeah, it starts at 55. And today, I'm not just speaking for myself, but all the tenacious seniors, the group of neighbors who said, we live in a really good neighborhood, we're staying, we're not going anywhere, and we will make it great. So I'm very proud I was here at the groundbreaking not too long ago, I believe, and your council member, Janice George, was here. It's her birthday, so give her a big birthday shout out. And I know I can speak for her and all of us in saying that we are proud to celebrate this final phase of turning an old speed ramp into beautiful housing. And I am also very pleased to be joined by a lot of people who want to follow this blueprint, Director Hines, in neighborhoods across Washington, D.C., because they are committed to building affordable housing. That's right. We want affordable housing. And we have been very lucky, but also very committed in this city to use the Housing Production Trust Fund, which is our most important tool in building affordable housing. This project, this one, $25 million from the Housing Production Trust Fund. I promised when I was elected 10 years ago that every year I would put at least $100 million in the Housing Production Trust Fund. 100 million times 10 would be $1 billion. But it turns out that we've done like 1.5 billion in the Housing Production Trust Fund. More than any jurisdiction per capita in the United States of America. And because of those investments, we have more than 30,000 Washingtonians in affordable housing today than we did in 2015. So I'm proud today. You know, I'm highlighting my 26 budget. And I talked some about our 26 budget on Monday. And that's the budget that we've been working on since last November. And the proposal that we will send to the council will right-size some spending based on where we are in our economy, but it will also make some big, bold, aggressive investments in our growth. Our job for the next 4 years is not to sit on our hands and hope things change. Our job is to make them change. We know our CFO estimates that 40,000 people could be impacted by job losses because of DOGE, not because of us. We know those changes could be personally devastating, but we also know that they have a devastating impact on our budget. So this budget for FY26 in the next 3 years will address those changes in our revenues, and we will continue to grow. Our first big announcement related to this growth agenda was that the Washington Commanders are coming home. You like that, Andy? And I didn't know that Andy, who's a board member here, is also part of the Commanders team. So let's give the Commanders a big welcome. So today I am pleased to announce that I will be able to match the commitment I made 10 years ago and include a $100 million HPTF investment in our upcoming budget proposal. It will continue to help us create affordable homes, but it will also continue to put people to work. It will continue to put our small businesses to work. It will help people remain hopeful about our city, stay in our city, help their kids get out of their basements and enter their own homes in our city. That's what they tell me. That's what we need to do. Now, I said that our proposals are also going to be aggressive. And that's because we need to make sure that we have the environment where these projects will work. Now, we have invested, I already said, over $1.5 billion in affordable housing and created over 30,000 units. And because of some changes in our policy environment related to rental housing, some of those properties are in trouble. Some of those properties can't pay their bills, they can't pay security, they can't keep maintenance, and it threatens the viability of those projects. When we have too many projects that are in trouble, it's harder for good projects like this to get financing from the outside. So that's why it's important that we send the clear message that DC is a great place to do business and build affordable housing. A couple of months ago, I introduced to the council a bill called the Rental Act. There are several provisions that make it easier to invest in affordable housing in the district, including modernizing TOPA, including reforming ERAP, making our housing authority board permanent, and giving them the stipend that they need. I got to put that out there because it's necessary. And really sending the signal that we as a government, mayor and policymakers, are ready to do business with good, affordable housing developers. Are you with me, DC? So, $100 million, aggressive reforms, and we will meet our new goals. Actually, I think we should make them bigger. Don't you, Nina? We want 15,000 people in the downtown, and we want more people across all 8 wards. And we believe that everybody deserves safe and affordable housing in Washington, D.C. So with that, I've talked a long time, but I do want to introduce Nina Albert, who will say a little bit more about all of the good people behind me, including our director from the Department of Housing and Community Development, Colleen Green. Give her a big round of applause. Director Brian Hamblin from the Department of Buildings. Give Brian a big round of applause. And we have a number of leaders for our affordable housing, our construction communities, who know what can be done in this city in the right environment. So with that, Nina Albert, our Deputy Mayor for Economic Development.
I can tell the homecoming mayor that you got here and fan base. Good afternoon, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here. There's so many acknowledgments to make when you are preparing for a ribbon cutting. I know that the team will come up here and, share a little bit about, the village that it takes to deliver an affordable housing project and a senior affordable housing project. On our side, I just want to recognize our team, the government's team, that makes all of this happen. The developer comes, they put together a proposal and a package, they tell us, this is what we envision for the site. And they go and try and make it all work out and finance it privately if they can. And then there's like little tricks to the trade and opportunities and sometimes roadblocks. And so they'll come to DHCD, our Housing and Community Development team, led by Director Colleen Green. They'll go to the Housing Finance Agency, led by Executive Director Chris Donald, who's here, and they'll go to the Housing Authority and say, hey, do you have some tools like vouchers and other things? And so they'll go to the team led by Chief Keith Pettigrew to say, how do we pull all of this together to get a project going fast and now? Because we have seniors and other people who need homes as quickly as possible. So thank you to everybody who was part of making this happen, because it does. It takes a village. I want to recognize my team member just because I have the power of the podium here, and just say thank you to Project Manager Patrick Smith, who on the DEMPED team made this happen. And when we look at this is the second phase of the Fort Totten Development Project, the first of which delivered 90 townhomes just around the corner. And they look fantastic. I live down the street, and every time I come by here, I'm just in wonderment of how things have changed. We all want great housing options throughout our neighborhoods. But housing just doesn't come out of nowhere. You just can't will it and hope that it's going to happen. I just talked about that village, that ecosystem that has to work together to come up with something great. This entire development was possible because of the private sector, because of the public sector, because of the $100 million committed by Mayor Bowser every year for the past 10 years to deliver affordable housing. And it takes a visionary and a true commitment from true housing partners who committed and saw the opportunity here for a new community in Ward 4. Those investments paired with our economic growth, we need to, the mayor said it, you need to continue to grow for people to continue to invest. They have to see what that future looks like. And that's why the growth agenda is going to be so important. But these investments right now, just to bring it back to housing, has enabled us to build a significant amount of housing over the past 10 years. That production of housing has stemmed the rise of housing prices. We have slowed our housing price growth over the last 5 years more than any other city, more than the average nationally. It's because of housing production. More housing units means lower prices. Unfortunately, due to a perfect storm of economic headwinds combined with leftover pandemic-era policies, our housing ecosystem in the District of Columbia has been pushed off balance. We are now at risk of not only slowing housing production, but also losing the affordable housing investments we have made, and we just cannot let that happen. That's why Mayor Bowser proposed the Rental Act, a comprehensive solution to stabilize our housing market, ensure that rent is paid, and improve the investment climate. The Rental Act was not willy-nilly, random, middle of the night kind of work. We studied what was necessary, we vetted it among housing experts, and we drafted it thoughtfully. So without making the fixes that we have proposed, new housing production will continue to slow, and housing prices, which is what everybody cares about, will increase as a result. It was proven what it did when we produced more housing and how it changed the trajectory of rent increases. We've got to get back to producing and delivering more housing in order to make sure that house prices across the income spectrum are affordable to all DC residents. Now, we have seen some proposals from our friends on the council that take on the goals of the Rental Act piecemeal, but that will not work. We need a comprehensive solution, we need bold action, we need the Rental Act. That's what gets us to stabilization. That's what ensures that this new $100 million commitment that the mayor just made today, it goes 100% to building more transformational, affordable housing communities like Riggs Crossing Senior Residences. Congratulations again, and with that, I will turn the podium over to Steve Smith.
All the way with RA.
All right, all the way with RA. All the way with RA.
Okay. Is someone from Truist here? Okay, come on up. I'm sorry, Steve? Okay, Steve Smith.
Good afternoon, folks. It's a great day to be in the district. It's a great day to be in affordable housing. I'm Steve Smith, Relationship Manager with Truist Community Capital. I just want to thank Carmen and the True Ground Housing Partners team for your partnership and for having us here today. And I want to acknowledge some Truist teammates in the crowd. Where are you? Slip there. My teammates over here. Glad to be here. We know that access to quality, affordable housing has a positive impact on communities, and our focus on affordable housing centers like Riggs Crossing transforms communities for the better. Today's grand opening is a reminder of what great opportunities can result when public and private partners, as well as excellent development partners, come together to create much needed affordable housing for our community. True Ground Housing Partner understands the need on the ground and has a passion to serve communities and their residents. And this investment changes lives for 93 seniors who will be able to call this place home. True Ground is a fantastic development partner. This group is committed to developing high-quality, affordable housing throughout this entire region. In fact, Truist has worked with the True Ground team across 10 successful projects like this. All right. Across the DMV, including Arlington County, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Montgomery County, and now Washington, D.C. We're really proud of that we've been able to go with True Ground Housing Partners wherever they go, and we'll continue to go wherever you go, including more in the district. So on behalf of my teammates who worked on this project, we look forward to partnering more with this team. And at Truist, our purpose is to inspire and build better lives in communities. And investing in affordable housing throughout this community is just one way we demonstrate our purpose. I've been at this financing affordable housing for 21 years, and it truly never gets old. And days like this are the best days of my job. So what did Truist do here? Our role in Riggs Crossing is part of our continued investing in Washington, D.C. and the communities throughout the DMV. And on this project, Truist provided just over $48 million in project finance, including a construction loan and tax credit equity, and a $6.4 million loan from Freddie Mac through Grand Bridge Affordable Housing. So that's a lot of money, but it takes a lot of money. And Truist has committed over $150 million to support affordable housing in the district since 2023, and over $440 million in the DMV across that same time span. So there's a lot of money to be spent, and I know we have a lot more. Let's do more deals. So thanks again for having us here today, and more importantly for the opportunity to partner with such a meaningful and purposeful project here in the district. Congratulations to all the partners, including True Ground Housing Partners, that made this possible, and to the new residents who will thrive in this beautiful community. So I believe, okay. So now I'd like to turn it over to Carmen Romero, President and CEO of True Ground Housing Partners.
I'm a little shorter than Steve. Welcome, everyone, and I am so honored that we are joined here to celebrate this milestone opening of Riggs Crossing Senior Residences with our mayor, with so many leaders, members of the community that have worked so hard to make this moment possible. The mayor walked through the very intentional planning that went into so many amenities that the residents here will enjoy. And the financial tools, the Housing Trust Fund, the local vouchers, the permit expediting, which we availed ourselves of through the Velocity program. The list goes on and on. And this is truly an example of what we can accomplish when we are in partnership, the nonprofits, local government, private capital that we can leverage. This is a special day for our nonprofit. We're a 35-year-old nonprofit that is opening our first development here in the District of Columbia, and I promise you will not be our last. We are right there with you, and we are honored to join the many other nonprofits that are already serving this community because the need is so great. This is our fourth senior affordable development to open in the last 3 years. And that is because those of us who are affordable housing students know that that is the largest cohort that is rising in housing insecurity and in homelessness. We cannot allow our seniors to live their golden years afraid of ending homeless. If you look at the Harvard stats from 2001 to 2023, seniors have seen their cost of housing go up 18%, but their income go down 12% in that period of time. In 2023, most households that make $30,000 a year, by the time they pay their rent and utilities, they're left with $250 for everything else at the end of the month. I'm not surprised by that number because we're housing 6,000 people today, and the average household income in our portfolio is $40,000 a year, and that is reality, right? So that's why we are here. That is why we are doubling down, and it takes real leadership, Mayor, to say these are challenging times in affordable housing, not just in the district. This is a national problem, right? So we have to do things differently. We just have to, and we do have to continue to grow. And we are very much in that mindset that affordable housing is a part of what makes a community work. And we want to bring creative ideas of the things that we are doing in other places so that we can be part of solutions, because that's what we are all about. Now let's talk about this beautiful building. Please come tour it. It has got local artists. It has got different areas on every floor for wellness and mindfulness. It's got outdoor gardens for sunlight, for gardening, for building community. It has got washer dryers that are beautiful in every unit. It's got Juliet balconies. It's got big windows. We've got local business. We've got 2 out of the 3 retail tenants have already been identified who are small local businesses, right? And a third one hopefully on the way soon. We need to build affordable housing in every corner of the district, and right here we have access to retail, to food, to transit, to public amenities like the library, where we did our lease up out of. That's a first for me. I've never leased a building up out of a library, but that was successful because we are in community that way, finding long-term residents like Miss Mary who want to come home, right? So I am just overwhelmed with gratitude, with optimism, with energy This is such an exciting day, beyond anything we ever dreamed of when we first decided to take this on. But I have to also take the privilege of the mic and thank a few people that were not already thanked. I will not repeat, but I have to first and foremost start with EYA. I've got the members of the team here that built those beautiful townhomes. They picked us. We would not have been given a shot without EYA picking us. So thank you, EYA, and excited to continue working with you as you continue to build near neighborhoods. I forget your tagline, but to our construction team, Davis Construction, our construction management team, KCM, our architects at Torty. This building is beautiful. Please take the tour. You will not be disappointed. I am so proud. We have got a commitment to PSH here. We have groups like Chapman Todd, who are long-term partners of the city, are going to help us make sure that we are implementing that in the right way. And then to my staff, my team. Well, first our board members. We've got several here in the audience. You've met Rich. Yes, Andy Van Horn from the Commanders also serves on my nonprofit board of directors. But we have many other board members here as well. But to my real estate team, led by Mike Chiappa, who's been with me 10 years, who lives in the district, to Mitch Crispell, who lives in Ward 4 somewhere. You're here. He was the director on this project, and Joanna Shin. Every detail, to the books that you see on the bookshelf, they thought about. Please take the tour. As well as my asset managers who are going to work with you, because the operations of the buildings matter. How we collect rent, how we keep people housed, because you can do both. You collect rent. Our eviction rate last year was under 2% and has been throughout the pandemic. We can do both. We can keep people housed and have strong economics for our affordable housing portfolio, and we are excited to do that here. The future is bright. I think it's time to cut a ribbon, but there might be some Q&A that the mayor wants to take.
Hip, hip to leadership.
Well, I think if you guys don't mind, we're going to cut the ribbon and then maybe get a little smaller group together so I can answer your questions. Does that work? Okay. All right. Let's cut the ribbon. I'll do a smaller little group with the reporters, and then we'll take some tours. Thank you.
We're breaking away. What do you want me to do, Dion?
Please hold tight for just one moment as we cut the ribbon. After the ribbon is cut, we encourage you to visit the retail spaces directly behind us, and the tours will begin in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.
Can we create a little more space here, please? Daniel. Daniel. Yes. Is she going to do it from over here? You going to have a microphone for her? KB, you good? Let me put it.
So we're not doing it again? We are?
Excuse me. Can we make it clear? For him,
We're going to start Q&A. Area out.
She's going to come up. She'll be like right here. Just in case she starts going. Come on.
Guys, I'm going to take a few questions here, so if we could keep it a little quiet.
All right, I'm ready. All right.
Okay.
Mayor, for the next round of HPTF funding, the $100 million, I'm wondering if there's any strategy on the investment as far as whether this will be geared more towards the creation of more, the preservation, and what if there's any sort of strategy on how the funds will.
Well, we always look at the environment that we're in, so I can't say that we have a preset number at this time for production or preservation. Yep.
How will this fit in, if at all, to the affordable housing plans at the RFK site that's being eyed for affordable housing?
Well, these funds are for FY26, so I don't know that they will fit into the RFK site at all. But we know that we want to keep investing in the Housing Production Trust Fund. We do believe, as has been mentioned, that when the residential parcels at RFK are developed and are zoned and developed, up to 5,000 to 6,000 of units of housing could go on those parcels. And like most of our affordable housing projects across the city, as Nina mentioned, there are all levels of financing, and many of those projects come to the city for HPTF or low-income tax credits or some measure of financing. Yep.
For the $100 million, can you kind of explain how far that goes every year? I'm not sure if historically that helps for 4 projects.
That's
projects.
a great question. It doesn't go as far as it used to, is the short answer. And Nina, perhaps the question was how far does it go?
Well, the experts are really with me, Director Green and Executive Director Donald. So there's typically a combination of typically it's LIHTC first, and then they'll work with the Housing Finance Agency. But HPTF has really served to close an even further gap for projects that are innovating or trying to achieve deeper levels of affordability or have some special circumstance, like senior housing specifically, actually. I don't know if Director Green, if you have an estimate per year of what $100 million in HPTF does, but it is the most flexible form of financing that we have, and it allows us to deliver on projects that might not otherwise be feasible through more traditional means.
Sure. So if you do the math, on average right now, subsidies that we're providing to affordable housing range between $600,000 and $700,000 per unit. So hopefully we'll be able to figure out ways to do more value engineering, think about other construction opportunities in order to reduce that. But as costs have gone up, obviously the subsidy that's required to produce affordable housing also rises. So as the mayor said, it doesn't go as far as it once did, but we do everything that we can to make sure we can touch as many units as we can to create them.
One more question, following up.
Well, good to see you, love. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Give me 1 second, okay? I promise we'll get to you. And just as a shorthand, as mentioned, this building, beautiful building here in Ward 4 in Riggs Park, it has a $25 million contribution.
And then just for the budget overall, obviously, FY26 budget, do you have a timeline when we're going to get that budget to the council? I know yesterday they had passed a resolution saying that it would need to be delivered by May 15th. So I didn't know if you have
Yeah, so let me just be clear about this, and I want to correct some information that I think we've heard. I told you a while ago that we were finished with the FY26 budget, and we are, but we do need to address FY25. And FY25 does affect the certification of FY26. So it's simply not true that we're holding it up for kicks. We are waiting to get some resolution to the 25 issue. And I have given my team, and I think I'm in agreement with the CFO, that we're at the time that where if there aren't fixes, then we're going to have to balance 25. We're going to have to balance 25.
Hey, Mayor, question on the Rental Act.
Sure.
Oh, Martin Ostermuel from the 50 Verse. How are you? On the Rental Act, have you gotten any word or kind of any insights from the council as if they're going to move the Rental Act in any certain amount of time? And is there a date certain by which you would like to see it passed? If not, things could get worse in the district's housing market or kind of.
Things are worse in the district's housing market. We raised that flag loud and aggressively when we introduced the bill, when we started discussion on the bill, when I moved an emergency last fall related to ERAP. All of those things were measures that may help a little bit, but as Nina said, we need some comprehensive action, both to address stabilizing existing property and attracting investment in more rental housing. So Nina has had a lot of conversations, so let me turn to her.
We need the Rental Act passed as quickly as possible. We introduced it at the beginning of the year. We had spent approximately 9 months evaluating what really needed to be in there. What could we do that was focused? What could we do that would be impactful? And that's what we proposed. Everything from establishing really the star board for the Housing Authority, making sure that leadership that's qualified and can work really well together is in place to make sure that the Housing Authority continues the good work and improvements it's made. We want to make sure that we are in line with the rest of the market in this region in terms of treating tenants that have not been able to pay their bills on time fairly, but also that there's a very clear timeline so that it brings the parties together. The mayor had mentioned TOPA. TOPA, the way that we've proposed it, has been to preserve what it was intended for, to make sure that people who are at middle and low income have the right to purchase their home. We have not touched that at all. We are preserving that, but we're wanting the market rate units and buildings to be able to move more quickly, because that money in the transaction of a market rate unit actually goes back into HPTF. It's a closed loop that feeds itself and improves our ability to deliver more affordable housing. So all of these components are really important to us, and we would like the council to act now.
Yes.
News. Some off topics on this year's budget, so your summer budget. Congressman Harris told TOP the Senate spending fix for D.C. doesn't have House support. What's your response to that, and what have you heard on Capitol Hill?
We think this bill is with the Speaker of the House, and the Speaker of the House should be the one answering questions about it. The Speaker needs to move the bill. Listen, bipartisan support in the Senate is their snafu. Everybody knows it, and they need to fix it. Bipartisan support in the Senate. The President of the United States supports it, and we need Speaker Johnson to move it. And I know when he moves it, it will pass.
And in the meantime, while we're waiting on any action to take place, ahead of, we have World Pride, other events coming up, has the city administrator given you his spending plan to further reduce spending for the fiscal year, should we not see that movement?
We will be finalizing plans in the coming days if we don't have any action.
Did he give you the plan, though? I understand it was due Friday.
We will be finalizing plans in the coming days if there's no action. That's my response. Thank you. Yes.
Mayor Bowser, one following up on that with the city administrator.
The city administrator
yeah,
is
he's
here.
luckily here for us. We appreciate that. Have you authorized any waivers for any agencies, particularly public safety agencies?
I believe we have.
Could we get any readout on that?
No, you cannot.
I appreciate that. Today is 100 days of President Trump in the White House. I'm just wondering your reflections. He's had obviously a huge impact on the nation, but also obviously the District of Columbia I don't know, some good, some bad. Maybe I'm asking you, what is your take after the first 100 days in office?
Okay. I don't want to make this about politics, okay? I'm going to stick to the dollars and cents, okay? Here are the dollars and cents. We came into 2025. We had a slowing economy affected primarily by remote work, but we didn't have negative revenue projections. In 2025, we have negative revenue projections. In 2024, we have one of the rating agencies have us at AAA. In 2025, we've been downgraded. So those are just 2 points because of actions that have nothing to do with us, because of federal job loss and federal interference. Our economics, our dollars and cents have been impacted. And so that's why it's so important for us. And you're going to hear me say this more often. We can't sit on our hands. We have to make changes to adjust quickly to what the federal actions have created in D.C. This Doge economy is what I've called it. It slowed us. It's causing us to have to make very difficult decisions about programs and services that have helped us become a world-class city.
Do you think it's a win for the city? Are you relieved that the president so far has not followed through on his threats to take control of the city?
Mark, as I mentioned to you, that's not how it works. You know that. And we, until we become the 51st state, we're always subject to the whims of a Congress and the rhetoric of a president who could maybe not take over the city, but make things difficult in the city. But on the same token, on the other side of the token, President Trump, he could stop firing employees. He can hire people back. He could slow down on the disposal of federal properties without a plan. He could make huge investments in infrastructure that belongs to the federal government that could help us, like Union Station, which could be a transformative economic development project for the district. So there are things that the president can do. You know that he is very focused, and I happen to share this value that we should be the safest and cleanest capital in the world. And so I think there are things that we will work on together. So far, no money has been associated with those ideas, but we have some ways that the federal government can be a productive partner with us. Okay. 51. Yes, ma'am.
So the other potential risk to DC's finances are the possibility of Medicaid cuts. How has the uncertainty about whether we will see these cuts, whether they will be specifically targeted to DC, impacted healthcare budgeting, planning? We just had a hospital open, and that expected to rely heavily on Medicaid funding. What is your message to Congress right now as this is expected to come up next week?
Well, it's not just from us. It's from Americans all across our nation who rely on Medicaid. I happen to think it's one of the most cruel things to take insurance away when people have had it. Some people, us, we've been committed to insurance for years. But some people in these red states, they only just got Medicaid. They've only just been able to take their kid on a well baby visit or to the dentist. They've only just been able to get medication for their high blood pressure and diabetes so they can prevent the loss of a limb. I'm not talking about DC. All those things are true in DC, but they've been true for a long time. In West Virginia, they just got insurance. In Mississippi, Alabama. So those are the people who are relying on Medicaid. And if you want to take, you don't want a mom to be able to take the baby for a well baby visit? Or a senior to be able to get insulin? And then those are the individuals. Now let's talk about the health systems that will fail in rural America. Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. could severely limit their capacity. This is a premier children's hospital, not just for D.C., not just for the nation, but globally. And so I just got to think the members of Congress and the senators won't let that happen. I've got to think that. Now, you ask, is D.C. especially impacted? There are other jurisdictions that also have a different match that would be impacted, we think, if D.C. were impacted in that way. And we think those states and senators will make the case for maintaining their match.
Our match, we had a loss there?
I think they go together. Yes.
Mayor, your response to the council saying that they don't have enough time to look through the 2026 budget because of the delays.
Oh, the council has 70 days by law. And so when they get the package, they have 70 days to look. No matter when they get it, they have 70 days. And that includes the $20+ billion operating budget that we send every year. They do it in 70 days. That includes our capital budget, which is $10 billion. They do it in 70 days. That includes the $500 million in capital that we have for the RFK redevelopment. That's $500 million of the $10 billion in capital. They do it every year in 70 days. Any other questions? Yep.
Question on RFK. Some of the concerns that we've heard a little bit about so far is the master development rights to the commanders for some of the parcels surrounding the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Is DC losing any input in some of the development decisions around that? Will DC have any veto or approval decisions in that space? How will that work?
Well, we see it as a great benefit. First of all, the commanders will be incredibly incentivized to get those parcels moving. One of them is the lead up to the stadium itself, the Plaza District, and that's for basically an entertainment district. So we think the commanders being responsible for it allows them to leverage the resources and even the infrastructure work that they're going to do on the stadium and do it all at once for those two districts. Similarly, the Riverfront district, is hugely important, and it will be the final the final parking garage will be built there. So they have a huge incentive to get that growing as well. And Nina, let me ask Deputy Mayor Albert to say a little bit more about the benefits.
So in terms of the community having an opportunity to work with the team on the parcels that they're going to develop, as well as work with DEMPED on the parcels that we will be releasing in the future, there is opportunity for that still. And so we'll be going through, we're just not even at the beginning of design yet, and determining what the exact mix of uses are. So there'll be lots of opportunity for community input. It's not passed. But when we think about what the benefit of this project is, we know from best practices and from past performance that when you bring on more uses sort of in greater volume at one time, it really catalyzes much more quickly. And I'll give the example of the wharf, which is a project that I worked on many years ago. It was originally designed to be 3 phases and implemented in 3 phases. They determined that bringing on more density and more program at once made for a faster project to deliver. And so they only delivered 2 phases. One big first out of the gate strong statement about what the community was going to be, what the brand was going to be, and it unlocked the ability to move quicker on the second phase better. The other thing I want to point people to is this site is right on the Anacostia River. It's right next to Langston Golf Course. It's right a trail across, a bridge across from Kingman and Heritage Islands. So you can unlock access to 1,200 acres of natural parkland along the Anacostia, not to mention the 30 acres that DEMPED still has yet to deliver at Hill East. This will catalyze that too. So I think there's lots of community benefits. There will be much opportunity for the community to be engaged in what the future of the RFK site looks like. Yeah, so the commanders are very interested and are committed to developing housing as well as including affordable housing in their developments.
So I don't get your question.
Some of the parcels in which the commanders have master development rights
Yes.
are expected to include housing.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if they will be expected to also deliver on the affordable housing finances, or how that arrangement
Yes,
works.
that's how it works. If you look at any of the other private development, just look at the wharf. There are affordable units at the wharf. And they were accommodated in our transfer with the developer. So that's how it works, and it's very common.
That was private development. The Nationals weren't in charge of like the development around the ballpark.
I didn't say anything about the Nationals. I said the wharf. Yeah, but the Nationals is also not those. Most of those, I think some of the parcels around Nats Park belong to the Nerners, but not most. It's very different. This is a campus. Yep.
Following up on, you had mentioned the council having adequate time with the 70 days. If my math is right, 70 days from today brings us to July 9th. And so are you planning to get the budget to them soon? Because
Yes.
we have that July.
Yes. Yeah, we're back. Yes.
Yes.
I
okay.
am. Yes.
But
Listen, let me just say this. We have no interest in hoarding the budget. We are done. We're talking about it. We want it to move. We have some things that need to happen. The council will have the budget, but for something out of our control. So yes.
The question I was trying to get at was the July 15th,
Yes.
per the exclusive negotiation agreement, that a vote would need to happen on legislation by that date.
But when the council finishes its votes on the budget, that's when it needs to happen.
So you're not concerned that the commanders could pull out if it's not reached by then, because they have that opportunity the way the term sheet is listed out.
I expect that the council wants to get to his vacation, and they're going to get to it. And so I don't mean to be flippant. So think of July 15th or the second vote on the budget. Think in those terms. Do you follow me?
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're not concerned as far as it relates to the term sheet. Are you saying that they will be meeting that date?
I don't know when they're going. It's up to the council when they take their votes. But what I'm saying to you, if the second vote on the budget is July 21st, it doesn't matter.
So as long as the first vote is by July 15th.
No, okay. As long as the second vote includes the Commander Stadium and it's before the council goes on recess, that's what we agreed to with the team. Do you follow me?
I follow you, but the term sheet lists the July 15th date, so that's gonna.
Okay.
If you look at the line just under the line that you're quoting right now about the 15th, it clearly indicates that by mutual consent that date can be extended. So if the council's voting on the second vote on, say, the 17th, by mutual consent, the exclusivity extends to the second vote. So the mayor's idea of frame it around the second vote or the 15th. But the term sheet envisioned and allows for flexibility as to when the exclusivity period ends.
Next question.
Thank you. If we could say with the term sheet, I'm just wondering if you could provide some clarity on the personal seat licenses, that it appears that those would be the property of the District of Columbia because you own the stadium. The district would convey them, according to the term sheet, to the team. The team would then sell them. I'm just wondering, in LA, it's $500 million in seat licensing revenue. I'm just wondering, is there a number that you have? Do you plan on selling those or conveying those seat licenses to the team for a de minimis amount of money like the rent, or for a significant amount of money in accord to what they're actually worth?
We expect the team to use the value of the seat licenses to help finance the stadium.
Appreciate that, but you have to convey them.
We will convey them.
Will you charge them? Will you collect revenue?
Yeah, I get your question. It is de minimis. All right, thank you, everybody.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.